In this video, we're gonna see how to use your upper body to increase your edging on icy conditions. This is tip number 2 out of 4 on how to carve telemark turns. And the tip is to put your chin over your outside ski, or the front ski for us telemark skiers, to add weight over our edges. There are actually 2 movements from the upper body that we can play with in order to balance ourselves. One is to have our shoulders square to the bottom of the slope. This is called counter rotation. The other one, which we're gonna talk mainly about today, is to create a separation between the upper body and having your shoulders over your skis. This is called angulation. This movement is often described as creating a C shape. So even though there are 2 different movements, we are still gonna put them in the same category as upper body movements, and you need both in order for this to work. The goal is not simply to create that arch, but actually to really put pressure over the outside leg. See the differences between these angulations side by side. On the right side, you can clearly see that my upper body is over my feet a lot more. All this is to point out that you need to play around with the amount of angulation that you put in each turn. You can telemark without these movements, like shown here, but you'll not be able to edge on icy conditions, and you won't be able to react to an unbalance if you don't use these movements. How? Use a cat track or a green run, but then focus on keeping your chin over your front ski. Look at how I move my upper body over my outside ski. This is the key. If you think about this, it will help you shift your body weight on top of your front leg, and your upper body will stay more forward, thus increasing tip number 1. Practicing this movement at slow speeds on easy terrain will really help you feel the angulation. As you gain confidence, increase the movement and speed, creating a nice carved turn. Common error. Hands. If your hands are not always forward, especially at the end of the turn, you will reduce the efficiency of your angulation movement. Every time you feel out of balance, it could be because you couldn't stay in a telemark squat position at the end of the turn, or that your skis lost an edge, think about where your shoulders and hands were. Are your shoulders centered over your outside ski? Are your hands forward enough, attacking the turn? See the Elvis Style Telemark. This is an exercise. I have done a video. You can find it here. And this is a great way to understand how to use your hand in a carved turn. There's quite a few exercises you can try to stabilize your hands. The Elvis Style Telemark is really powerful. Another exercise you can try is to drag your poles while turning. So I'll keep my hands steady in front of me, and I'll drag the bottom of my poles on the ground. Another way to do this is you can grab the poles halfway and do the opposite. Now you don't want your poles to move or to touch the ground, and have your hands straight in front of you. Remember that it's not about keeping your hands steady. It's about moving your torso in order to put more pressure on the outside ski. And thus it's about where your hands are at the end of the turn. They need to be in front of you. So I can move my hands dynamically in order to create more performance. And that is what I'm doing here. So these are just exercises for you to experiment with your hand position in regards to your upper body position. So I don't tend to ski like this regularly. I will go a bit further in telling you to concentrate on those hand movements in general turns, not just the pure carve turns. See here how I dropped one hand and fell instantly inside of the turn. Whenever you're on groom runs, focus on how your hands are behaving. Are they still in front of you at the end of the turn? That should solve most problems. More tips. Don't focus much on the movement that is counter rotation. For carving, this movement is not as predominant as for mogul skiing or powder turns. If you focus on your hands and where your chin is in regards to your front ski, it will really increase your ability to carve and edge, and you will feel a lot more balance. Please consider subscribing. Absolute Telemark is all about telemark technique. So I have developed a series of tutorials to teach you. Over the years, I've helped hundreds of telemark skiers, and you too can learn all about the telemark technique. These telemark tutorials includes the 7 flaws of telemark skiing, which is the core of my teaching method. I explain in full details how telemark technique works and how it can be applied to your style, whatever your level. This is an online class, so you can take it anywhere and learn at your own pace. If you want to know how to get to the next level with a clear path, check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to see tip number 3 on how to carve. This is Rene Martin. Until next time, cheers!